Why, hello everybody! How are we all doing today? My name is Griffin, and I am back again to talk to you about some skincare this time. And I am super excited about this video because, as far as I can tell, I am the first English-speaking content that is on this product whatsoever. And that is amazing because it is on one of the most commonly talked about types of product ever, which is sunscreen, where I am today going to review the beplain Clean Ocean Moisture Sunscreen. Check it out. So, beplain is a Korean skincare company that has actually very recently been getting really popular. Their most popular product I've been able to tell is their cleansing foam, actually, which has been getting a lot of very viral coverage in Korea. It's been on the top lists of Wahe, I obviously don't speak any Korean, but that is the most popular Korean social network dedicated towards beauty and skincare products. And it's been so popular there. They also have a couple other products, like they have a Sika ampule, but overall, they are a company that is very few items, and all those items are meant to be very simple. It's in the name, beplain. All of the products that they have there are just very to the point. This is what it does, no extras, no fancy stuff, and even the packaging. It's so minimal. It's just white with some text, and there's a little dolphin. It's a little dolphin. They have since released a sunscreen, and it must have been pretty recent because, as I just mentioned, there really isn't much content on this product whatsoever, and it is one that kind of ticks a lot of my boxes, to be completely honest here, where it is a fully organic or chemical sunscreen that uses two modern filters. It has Uvinol A+, and Tinazorb S, which are two of the best, even of the new filters. Tinazorb S is just known for being just, if you are going to include any filter in it whatsoever, include that one. And there's no fragrance in here. There's no alcohol in here. And even then, there's very few even extras in here. So it's a really good option for people who are looking for something simple. But before I kind of spoil everything too much, let's kind of do my normal thing where I kind of talk about everything. So, this is a sunscreen, and it comes in SPF 50 plus, PA of 4 pluses, which is perfect, and it comes in a 50 milliliter tube, which I find to be small, but is very typical for Korean sunscreens. Nearly every single Korean sunscreen comes in 50 milliliters, if not less. 40 to 60 is usually the typical range, and I got this myself on Olive Young, which is the most popular Korean beauty outlet ever, for $20, but I did get it in a 2-for-1 deal. It also came with some wipes that I'm never going to use, but if you can find it on the 2-for-1 deal, you can get 50 milliliters for $10, so that's actually a pretty good deal if you're able to get that kind of sale thing going on, though I do not know how long Olive Young is going to be running that special, so if you are interested in it, get it right now while you can get the 2-for-1, and worst case scenario, you don't like it and you can gift the other one to somebody else. Regarding ingredients, this is a super basic solution, where almost all of the ingredients are catered towards the actual vehicle and formula whatsoever, where this is a sunscreen and it's not trying to be anything else. It's not trying to really kind of be the extra stuff. It is focusing on that. This is something that I would see recommended by a dermatologist, frankly, because of how basic this ingredients list is, where outside of those two SPF filters I talked about, the other ingredients of interest are things like niacinamide, glycerin, and adenosine, which are all ones that you can find in things like CeraVe. You can find them in very kind of drugstore, pharmaceutical types of things, and there are very few filler ingredients in here, where most of the other things are just kind of there for preservatives or for vehicle and that type of thing. For example, we also have some fatty alcohols in here, and we also have our preservative as ethyl hexaglycerin, which is neither phenoxyethanol nor are they parabens. It is a known and effective preservative. It isn't as studied, of course, as the other ones, but it is an effective one that we know about that works. It does its purpose. So this thing is going to be preserved. You do not need to worry too much about that. And there are only 3 extracts in here, and they're at the very bottom of the ingredient list, and they are all kind of a type of seaweed, algae type of extract, which makes sense because they're saying this is a clean ocean sunscreen, so you want to put in something that kind of references the ocean, but they're so low on the ingredient list that I would not be surprised if there was a very minimal amount whatsoever. So for that reason, I would say this is actually one of the most, if not the most, hypoallergenic Korean sunscreen I have ever seen. There are very, very few potential irritants inside of this sunscreen. So if you are somebody who is super sensitive skinned, if you can't tolerate a lot of skincare, even if it is fragrance free because of additional additives in it, this is going to be a really interesting option for you if you want something that is going to be an organic filter instead of an inorganic filter. In terms of how it looks, let me kind of show you how it goes on my hand. It comes in a nice little flip top, which, like, you really can't underrate. You can't kind of deny that that's a nice thing. And this, of course, is not the amount I would put onto my face, but this is going on the back of my hand, which, of course, is smaller than my face. But you can see it comes out and it's nice and creamy. It has a lot of body to it. It is definitely kind of an off-white kind of eggshell type of look, and it just kind of melts in very, very well into my hand, and it's very lotiony in texture, but kind of like a creamy lotion, if that makes sense. It's hard to describe things through camera, but it's full-bodied but still lightweight, and it really truly has that moisturizer texture that I look for in kind of a morning cream, where it's lightweight but actually still feels emollient to it. It doesn't feel like it is disappearing and leaving completely nothing left on your skin like some other sunscreens. It actually is going to act like a moisturizer, which is great. We love to see that type of thing. As this is full of completely organic sunscreen filters, there is 0 white cast whatsoever, and I implore other people with darker skin tones to try this out, but it's not really going to be one that I necessarily challenge because there isn't anything in here that would kind of suspect otherwise. And I'm also not really challenging anybody about it because there's a really interesting thing in regards to Korean cosmetics in general, but has been really exacerbated most in sunscreens, that Leah Yu actually did an amazing video on, which is that a lot of products from different companies use the same labs and the same base formulas in regards to making everything. For an example, we have the Purito sunscreen that everyone knows and loves. This is the same base formula as the Claire's. It has the same 2 SPF filters. This one has Euvanol A+ and Euvanol T150, which I would argue is slightly worse than the Tinosorb S that is in the beplain one, but Claire's and Purito both had the same base and decided to do something slightly different with it. Of course, Claire's put in some essential orange oil in it, and Purito did something to make it tacky. I don't know, but they have the same base. And very similarly, beplain has 2 ones that I have found that I'm interested in, at least because they're both fragrance free, 2 other brands that have the same exact base and the same exact stuff, and those ones actually have had some coverage on them in the past. And to kind of let you know, this is made by a company called Green Cause, or there's another name, Moments Company is the one that's in English, but this is a Korean lab. They make skincare products, and they also make 2 other sunscreens. They make the Hige, however you pronounce it, organic sunscreen. They also make the Keep Cool Bamboo Sun Essence. And you can tell that these are going to be the same company, not only because they list it on Olive Young, who the manufacturer is, but because you can also tell that they have the same 2 SPF filters. They both use the Tinosorb S and the Euvanol A+. They are the same bases, but the difference really comes in the additives. Both the Keep Cool and the Hige actually use kind of more of a traditional, what I've considered to be Korean formulation, where they add in a lot of plant extracts and kind of give it more antioxidant and kind of like TCM types of things going on. But I think one advantage, again, that the beplain has towards those two is that it isn't adding those extras. It's really letting the sunscreen work as a sunscreen. It's not trying to be anything else. Again, it does have moisturizing properties, and as this has dried onto my hand, it has not leaving anything whatsoever. It is, I wouldn't really say that it's mattifying, but it also isn't shiny. It's not leaving myself feeling greasy or glowy. It's just kind of going back to the normal texture of my skin. It feels like there isn't any layer of anything really on it besides the smallest amount of moisture going on. It's just a very lightweight lotion, and that's all it's trying to be. It's trying to be a sun lotion. In terms of other kind of company-related things, I believe beplain is a cruelty-free company. It is hard to tell with Korean companies because it simply just is not advertised the same way as it is here in the United States. And another interesting thing about this bottle is that they do market this as an OXO biodegradable plastic. I don't really know exactly what that means. I don't know if that means you can put this in your compost bin. Here in San Francisco, we have industrial composting. I don't know if this means that it's just going to go into the recycling, because it is in the other kind of recycling category, because Korea has a very complicated recycling thing. But this is something that I do like to see, where companies are trying to find ways to reduce the amount of waste that they leave on the planet. And as this, again, is mentioning itself as a clean ocean sunscreen, you want to make sure you're not putting any more plastic in the ocean. Like, you should be cleaning the ocean, whether it is by recycling ocean plastic or by removing plastic that would otherwise be going into the ocean. As for my overall opinion, I think this is a killer sunscreen. I think this is amazing. I think this is one of the most interesting sunscreens that has been released out there, and I think this is such an atypical Korean sunscreen on the ingredients that I am shocked that nobody has picked this up and started talking about it before I have. I am completely flabbergasted about it. But it is still only 50 milliliters. And that's really where it loses points in my mind, where I have other sunscreens that I still really like that come in larger tubes. And frankly, if that Olive Young 2-for-1 deal doesn't continue with this, and I have to pay $20 for 50 milliliters, I'm not sure I want to be paying that much. I think if you're somebody who is unable to tolerate the other sunscreens and do need something that is more sensitive skin friendly, that might be worth it to you. But as somebody who doesn't have those specific needs, I'm probably going to lean towards the better deals, just because that's who I am as a person. I really don't want to take this away, though, from how much I think beplain has knocked this out of the park in terms of formulation, both ingredients-wise, but also application-wise, and I want to see more. I want to see more people taking this idea and kind of pushing it forward. I am somebody who does actually enjoy having those extracts and antioxidants in my skincare, but I have a lot of friends and I know a lot of people who just simply can't tolerate that. And there aren't a lot of options in Korean skincare for people like them, and I like having options for people in all areas. It's really refreshing to have a Korean brand decide not to go out and put every single ingredient they can into a product and just kind of go with what you actually need, what it actually is there for. You hear a lot of people talking about, I don't really care about what else is in my sunscreen other than the fact that it is sunscreen, and this nails that. This nails that philosophy super well. So that is all I really have to talk about in regards to this. I think that I was able to nail how I feel about the sunscreen pretty well. I hope to do in the future a more direct comparison between a bunch of sunscreens like the Perito and the beplain, and then I also have a few more that I mentioned in this video coming and some others that I've used to kind of give you a full rundown on which fragrance-free Asian sunscreen is best for you and your individual needs. But for now, I wanted to get a video out about this because I want more people to give their own reviews about it, show their own opinions on it. I know you're there, Kelly Driscoll, waiting and trying to get more of these little sunscreens in your hands and reviewing them before I can, but I think I am going to be the first on this one, which makes me really excited. Like, kind of conceited, but true. And yeah, So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like the video, give me a subscribe, and comment down below, especially if you have tried the sunscreen before or if you're interested in it and want to hear more. I have a lot more to say that I would love to answer in the comment section. So until next time, bye-bye.